Hello everyone, happy Thursday. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day. I hope it's gorgeous and sunny wherever you are. I'm Simone, I'm the CEO and founder of Apotecari. Today I thought that I'd ask Sophia to join me. Sophia is the brand manager for Apotecari. She is also our salon advocate, so I thought I'd ask Sophia to join me today. So, well, first of all, so you guys don't have to listen to me rabbiting on all day. And also because, you know, of course, there's this really incredible insight that Soph can bring to the table in terms of what's happening in salon world. And some of our salon partners are watching, so hi if you're out there. Also, you know, of course, if there's any questions that pop up along the way, feel free to drop them below, I guess, and we'll do our best to answer them. So, thank you for joining me.
No, thank you so much for asking me to join.
No,
and hi
thank you.
Hi to all of our salons watching and to everybody else watching. Really exciting topic today, talking about a season change in hair, and I suppose that it's super relevant. Like you said, it's a beautiful day. Look at you, mermaid.
I know. Well, I thought that because we're going to be talking about summer hair and spring hair, that I might dress the part today and get my lioness mane
Your
out.
mermaid out. Yeah, it's a really interesting change of season. We've come from winter and the cooler months, and we've seen huge dehydration, and we know what that means for hair. But going into summer, again, we've got the dehydration, different sources, the environment changes around us.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, the same way we start to get our summer body ready now, we need to start to look to get our summer mane ready now. We were just actually having a conversation before we went live about, you know, when I was younger, I didn't actually realise that your hair turning lighter in the summer was necessarily, you know, I thought it was a good thing. I used to look forward to it. And then, are we allowed to mention that product we spoke about just a minute?
I don't know, but you could probably describe it, and most people that are born in a certain era will probably know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So there used to be a product, and I remember all the girls in school, they'd bring it out during like art class or whatever, and they'd spray this product into their hair, and it would help to lighten it.
Yeah.
Especially in summer months, because that's what we tend to do, and my goodness. I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I know. And neither of us could even remember the name of the product when we were first started speaking about it. But it's almost like it's etched into the brain.
It's almost a coming of age.
Yeah, and
don't do it, guys.
Yeah, do
not do it.
Yeah, definitely go and speak to the professionals if you're thinking about lightening your hair before summer. And actually, that's a really great segue into, you know, I know myself. In the winter months, my colour, my colorist tends to make me a little darker, and I really like that because when my skin's a little bit more pale, it kind of gives me a bit more warmth. But yeah, certainly this time of the year, I'm definitely starting to get a little bit more lightening done, and I'm sure you're hearing the same sorts of things from the salon world as well.
I think that there are two ways to start looking at this and what we need to do for season change. There is what's on trend, like you say, we're going to go blonde, and this time of the year salons will start to increase their lightening treatment services. You know, we need to start looking at what sort of nutrition is going to complement any UV protective type products topically as well. But we also need to have a look at, like, rewind it right back. Let's reverse engineer the entire piece. During summer, our lifestyle does change. You know, everybody's always happier in summer. It's my favourite thing. There's a festive season, especially here in the Southern Hemisphere, because we have Christmas in our summer. But hand in hand with that is this stress. You know, we're racing to the finish line to finish the year, to finish the work year, to finish the family year,
to finish everything before we go on holidays. Right.
And even though we may not be going on holidays this year, there is still that, you know, vacay piece at home, that staycation.
Absolutely. And also, you know, to add to that, in winter, it's pretty normal for people to hibernate and, you know, probably, you know, don't wash their hair so often, don't colour their hair so often, don't heat style their hair so often. And I think also, you know, given, you know, we've essentially been in lockdown, and there's, you know, still a part of our country that's in lockdown, right? There's a lot of people who have been really hibernating to the next degree so much more than we usually would in wintertime. So really, now that things are starting to, certainly in Sydney, things are starting to become a little bit more open, a little bit more free. I know I'm heading out and about a little bit more often. I know that I'm probably styling my hair a little bit more than what I was during the winter time.
And the transition goes from this really to this.
Yeah.
Truly, just like if you leave the southern hemisphere during winter to European summer, your skin, it is. But your skin hasn't seen the sun for some time,
sure.
and then it cops all of it. And the same thing goes for the hair. You're right. It's a really interesting piece. It is styling season.
Yeah.
So, we will be spending more time outdoors, sure, and we've got UV and salt water and chlorinated water if we're in the pool, which is not great for the hair by any stretch.
Absolutely.
And then we also have the whole styling season because we're out and about more, we're being happier, and that transition has increased because of what we're going through as a nation at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well.
So I think, I think there's probably a couple of things happening here. So, first of all, our behaviours change when we move into a new season. And with those behaviour changes, I guess we're exposed to different, I know you love to use the words like urban decay, right? So, we're exposed, we're exposed to more UV in the sunshine.
Yeah.
We're exposed to chlorine in the pool.
We are. There are certainly, it's Apotecari always has been at the very core, how we can look to fight the breakdowns of urban life. And understanding what those breakdowns are before you look to address what you're trying to achieve is it's absolutely key.
Yeah,
so
couldn't agree more.
Right?
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. The environmental stressors, the psychological stressors, Christmas shopping. Like we said, everybody has this need to get everything done before the end of the year. We've got New Year's resolutions upon us. We need to make sure everything was ticked off from last New Year.
Yeah.
All of these sorts of things come into play.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about what that piece looks like externally at the very beginning, but what does it result in the hair?
Yeah,
right?
I'm so glad you kind of got there, because I wanted to talk a bit about the science behind, what happens when we're exposed to UV, for example. What happens when we're in the pool. Your observation before, how you used to, as a kid, you used to really look forward to summer because you knew that your hair would go lighter from the exposure to sun. So what is actually happening there? There's this, a scientific process, a biological process that's happening when you're exposed to the sun. Just like when you're exposed to the sun and your skin tans, there's a biological process there where melanin is being produced. It's essentially traveling to the top of your cells to protect the cell from that UV damage. And really, the hair is not that different. The hair is quite damaged by UV. There's a bunch of topical products that you can apply that almost behave like sunblock, sunblock for the hair rather than for your skin. And really what's happening there is that that UV is breaking down the melanin in your hair. And that's why you're getting a lighter, the sensation that your hair is going lighter, and it actually is. It's because the UV is breaking down that melanin.
There's also the consideration that it's fascinating. I've learned so much since I started working with you. Truly inspiring. But we do have, if our strand is 80% or 80 to 90% protein and the rest is moisture, what's the UV going to do to that? We know that UV dehydrates. It's going to wicket of its moisture. It's going to break down what's inside the strand. So all of a sudden, that lightning that the sun does is not as appealing as it once was, really.
But neither is tanning. When we were, probably, teenagers, tanning was a pretty cool thing to do in summertime. And
there is
before we realised what it was doing.
A reason that the solariums are now illegal, right?
Yeah.
So, we live to learn.
Yeah, and also, while we're talking about, I guess, tanning and, sunblock is a real thing in Australia. There's, once you find your ultimate soulmate in sunblock, it's, like you've won the lottery. But really, and sunblock is important because we want to prevent aging, right? So we know that UV exposure on our skin can accelerate the aging process and can lead to unhealthy aging. And that same thing happens with our hair, right? We want to make sure that our hair doesn't age in the same way that our skin would if it was exposed to UV. So I'd love to kind of share some ideas from a nutritional perspective in terms of, you know, what we do to help give the body the best chance of, I guess, not only coping with these, with this change and the change in our behaviours and the environmental changes. So the idea is, well, first of all, antioxidants are a huge part of helping to prevent that breakdown, right? So free radicals are produced, they can be produced by UV damage. They can be produced by a lot of different stuff, like, you know, exposure to different environmental pesticides and chemicals. You know, the food that we eat, even breathing can generate free radicals.
Things you want to avoid.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely. Yes. The idea with free radicals is that they're these cells that are unstable cells, and they seek out stability by stealing electrons from other cells. So once they steal that electron from the other cells, that cell that they just stole from becomes damaged.
So they're effectively the bad soldiers.
Yeah,
they are the bad soldiers.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea with antioxidants is that they are almost like the white knights in terms of, they're the arch nemesis of free radicals. So they come in and they've got all of these extra electrons that they can just pass over to a free radical, so that the free radical becomes stabilized and they don't become unstable. Which I think is a pretty fascinating...
It's incredibly fascinating.
Yeah.
I think also, you know, understanding that piece, okay, we may not need to know what goes on, we just want to know what products to take and what we can do, but understanding that is really critical in knowing, you know, maybe I should eat this instead of this for lunch, maybe I should opt for this practice instead of that.
Yeah.
But sorry, go on, I interrupt.
No, well that's a great segue, because, you know, really antioxidants are in a whole bunch of different foods. Really we're looking for antioxidants from brightly coloured foods. And I like the concept of eating a rainbow, right? So if you eat the colours of the rainbow every day, then you're getting all of these different antioxidant compounds or carotenoid compounds.
Yeah.
And the idea there is that you're getting quite a nice spectrum of different plant compounds, as well as those antioxidants.
And what's more summer than a fruit salad?
100%.
Yeah.
Or even, you know, a beautiful tuna salad, or, you know,
keep it safe.
Any salad. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm big fan of fruit salad, especially, you know, if you're down at the beach and you can take a little fruit salad with you. It's
down at the beach, protecting your hair. And your skin.
Yeah. So okay, we've spoken about antioxidants and how important they are. There's also, you know, physical blockers. So, you know, I mentioned before that you would put sunscreen on your skin. There are also sunscreens for your hair, and you mentioned them before. So, you know, if you're interested, if you do spend a lot of time out in the sunshine, and, you know, if you don't wear a cap or a hat or something along those lines, have a chat with your hairstylist and see what they recommend in terms of, you know, that UV protection.
On that piece, our hairstylists are so incredibly equipped to be able to answer these questions for you. And, you know, even open the conversation. You may not necessarily know the questions you need to be asking your stylist. I, for one, certainly didn't necessarily know the questions I needed to be asking, because I didn't know that this world existed.
Yeah.
Right? So even going to them and saying, I spend time outdoors, maybe I should do something for my hair, that opens the conversation for them. They can ask you questions. Don't feel that you can't approach them, because these guys really are the specialists, and we find that every day. You know, Mon mentioned before, I work closely with our salon partners, and those that stock Apotecari are hair nutritionists. They're equipped on, you know, the Apotecari range, which will really help during this time to replenish antioxidants.
Absolutely.
We've got Crown and Glory that specialises in scalp health and making sure that your strands are hydrated as well, that external protection.
Yeah.
We've got antioxidant-rich main event and hair food.
Absolutely,
you know, and very protein-rich hair food as well. We mentioned before the strand is at 80 to 90% protein. So if we use logic and the UV is breaking that down, especially during this time of the year, we need to be replenishing those things within the body. But back to the salons, they are so incredibly equipped to be able to tell you what's going to be good for your hair, your coloured hair, your type of hair, you know, if you're going out and styling it a lot. All of these things play a role in your stylist suggestion.
Absolutely. And I think also, you know, having a bit of a nod to the different styling techniques that we would usually, do in winter versus summer.
Yeah.
So today I've got my lioness mane out, but this is quite very, very unusual. It's probably the first and only time that I'll do an Instagram live with my mane. But, you know, today is an unusual situation, but usually I would blow dry my hair more often in spring and summer because I'm going out more often.
Yeah, you're in front of people more.
Yeah.
That presentation piece is there. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, we were speaking before about UV, UV protectors for the hair, but there's also heat styling, heat protectors for your hair as well. And that's something else that I really recommend you have a chat with your hairstylist about, because give them the whole piece. Tell them how your lifestyle changes at this time of the year, and then they can create this really great personalized an all-encompassing recommendation for you. And it might include supplements if you're not getting the right nutrients, or you're not getting enough antioxidants. It might be topical products. One thing that I also want to mention as well is that a lot of people use the same shampoo and conditioner all through the year.
Yes.
And also, I'm not going to ask you the question because I'm sure you change after hearing about me blabbering on about people not changing their hair routine up. But a lot of people I know not only don't change their hair routine during the year, but also they are using the same shampoo and conditioner that they used like 5 years ago. And
the same bottle.
No, not like
right.
not the same bottle, but they've found there's a shampoo and conditioner that they like, so they continue to use it, and that's fine. But you're not necessarily getting the right product for your hair stage at that moment. So if you think about it, my winter hair, the texture is different to my summer hair. I know that the hydration levels are different. I know that I'm exposed to different things. So I change my shampoo and conditioner and masks and, everything in between as the season goes.
Yeah, I think that if you think about, our diet changes from winter to summer.
Yeah.
Our exercise regime changes from winter to summer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we need to start understanding and appreciating that our scalp and strand regimen needs to change from winter to summer as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah.
And like you say, with the stages. And to add to what you had just mentioned about, speaking to your stylist about the type of styling that you could look to employ, guys, they know when you need nutrition. They know when you've been using heat tools and you tell them that you haven't been.
They know when you've cut your own hair during ISO. And
cut your own bangs.
Yeah.
They know, and there's a reason for that. Obviously, they're highly specialised, but there's also, unfortunately, whenever we suffer stress, whether it be physical, whether it be emotional, the first places that shows is your skin and your hair, your strands, right? So don't do me circa, I don't even know, circa 2000, where I used to literally put a heat straightener on my hair and used to deny it to my hairstylist. They know, right? And talking again about the transition we spoke about, we're going from hibernation, really.
Yeah.
And with a bit of luck, the entire nation will join us as we come out of that for summer.
Absolutely.
That transition is much bigger than what it normally is.
Yeah.
So you do need the TLC.
Yeah.
You do need to book in and pamper yourself. You do need to speak to your stylist about what you can do for your hair.
Yeah.
Make it a New Year's resolution, but start it from now, just like you would start your exercise regime now for summer body as well.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree more. I think, if there was, if you wanted advice about, building a new home and you weren't a builder, you would go and get the right expert advice, right?
That's right, and you wouldn't put it off.
Yeah.
You wouldn't put it off. And our salons are very good at seeing, sorry to speak again from salon side, but the reality is stylists are very good at being able to have these conversations with people. But if you're sitting at home going, it's really not much of a priority for me to get to the stylist because of everything else going on, the reality is your hair is seen by everyone. The reality also is that everything that's going on internally is seen through the strands. Yeah. So perhaps it is time just to get a little bit of extra nurture. It's important for you as well to really take care of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, if if a visit to the stylist isn't on the cards anytime soon for whatever reason, you've also got some pretty incredible resources that you have access to.
Yeah.
So for example, I know based on Facebook chatter and also also obviously my own purchasing habits. I have a slight Adore Beauty addiction. So they have a really great customer service team that, you know, honestly you can, you know, chat to them day and night. If you've got a question, if you're used to using a certain product and you know you can't access it at this time, they've got some really great
online
really great
options.
experts. So
Yes.
make sure you have a chat with their customer service team as well, because of course they're super helpful, and Adore also stock Apotecari. So if you've got any other questions, of course you can reach out to us, but you know, if you're already shopping at Adore, you can also have a chat with them.
So we've spoken about diet needing fruit salads and tuna salads and all the salads. Or just really brightly coloured food. We've spoken about the fact that we need to be aware that our stresses will increase very potentially as we get closer to Christmas and we race to finish the year and make sure everything's ticked off. I suppose let's be really very aware of that. Let's also be very conscious of the fact that the stress shows first of all in our skin and in our strands. So being proactive and counteracting that damage before it happens, and typically that is with supplementation because it is from within, you know, and meeting that shortfall that we're just not getting from our diets because we live fast-paced lives.
Absolutely.
And then we've got the environmental piece as well for spring and summer. And as this season changes, we know that temperatures are going to increase. The UV damage is going to be there. Our lifestyle will change. We'll be outside more. So what can we look to do there? Let's speak to our stylists about the different topical regimen that they prescribe for us.
And really what you've described right there is very fundamental to the Apotecari message, right? So the Apotecari message, obviously we're an edible hair care brand. We work with hair nutrition, right? But we are the first ones to say, actually, this is not a one size, this is not a one angle solves all situation here. This is a, you know, make sure that your nourishment is right, make sure that your diet is right, make sure that your lifestyle is right, speak to your stylist, make sure that your topical hair products are right. This is a 360-degree view of hair care. And, you know, of course, the cosmetic and skincare space has already kind of moved in that direction, but
that's
really
right.
that is
Gut
the direction
bacteria for skin health,
Absolutely.
all of that sort of thing.
And that is the direction that hair health needs to be moving in as well. It's that
for a
you
complete,
can't you can't look at one piece of the puzzle. It all comes together.
You can appreciate how different the results will be when you do look at 100%. The entire piece.
Yeah. It's like if you're trying to lose weight and you know you only exercise and don't fix your diet, your results are going to be pretty limited. So I think this is really just a continuation of. I know that. You know, there's certain things that are a little bit more difficult or complex to incorporate, but certainly in terms of, you know, hair nutrition, it's, you know, a couple of capsules a day or
so
a smoothie
easy.
a day, super convenient, super easy, and the right kind of styling and the right kind of advice from your stylist will help to make your hair manageability even better as well. So for example, go to your stylist and ask them for a super low maintenance colour or super low maintenance cut. That way you're not having to visit them so frequently. So get the right people to give you advice as well, I think is probably another take home message.
I do have to say as well, you know, the team at Peachy Rose, who is my personal stylist, does an incredible job at that. Effortless Beachy Waves, of course, located in Bronte, you would need to have that expertise, but certainly have a look at the salons that are around you on the Apotecari website. We have not just the recipes that we spoke about before, if you want to incorporate different diet changes into your lifestyle, but also, you know, all of our stockists per your location. But I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
I don't know if I should be so excited about this question.
You absolutely should be. You and I have got different backgrounds. And we have, and when I say that, I mean, you know, from different parts of the world. We have different hair characteristics. We have, okay, we're both a little bit lighter at the moment. But
I feel like I've rubbed off on you a little bit in that space.
You know, moving into summer, could be on trend. But you know, what would your go-to summer regimen be? without overcomplicating things, because we do know that, you know, some people are still sitting at home and this may not be a priority. So what are the smaller steps? And then, you know, with this Scandinavian hair, I might just respond to the same question.
Okay, so you're asking more in terms of like me and my hair.
Where does this come from?
Oh, right. Well,
I envy.
Well, I don't know if you should envy this. This takes a lot more work than it. Yeah, I didn't wake up like this, unfortunately. So, well, I guess in terms of like part of the world, I've got a mixed background in and of itself. My dad's Eastern European. My mum's Egyptian. I guess African.
Yeah.
Mum's got super duper curly hair,
so
very frizzy hair. That's where it comes from. Yeah, I wish I had more of my dad's hair and less of mum's hair, but sorry, mum. I know you'll agree with me though.
We also know you're watching, right?
Of course, she's like a Apotecari #1 fan.
Yes.
So I guess I know in and of myself that, you know, my battle with frizz, my battle with hair hydration, my battle with curl, and, you know, I guess also it's the grass is always greener, right? So I always wanted straight hair, I guess, because I had curly hair. You probably always wanted curly hair because you've got straight hair.
It's very true.
But I think the turning point for me was really quite similar to treat your body as a temple, right? So don't expect that you're going to have, you know, this beautiful mane if you treat your hair like crap. That's how Apotecari started, because I was treating my hair like crap. You know, I was doing all the wrong things. I was combining the wrong, the wrong services at the hairstylist. And I wasn't getting that right advice from the hairstylist either. And I think that's really important. You've got to really trust your hairstylist to give you, advice that prioritizes your hair health. And really that was the turning point for me. The turning point for me was, developing Apotecari and building Apotecari, but also finding a secret weapon in my hairstylist. So, you know, for me, the idea of using the same shampoo and conditioner, that was my life before, before I discovered and educated myself more. And my hairstylist does a really great job of kind of walking me through those season changes and, you know, giving me personalised advice. For me, I've got the benefit of a background in naturopathy and nutrition. So, if there's something going on, if I feel like my body is not, if I feel that there's something not quite right with my body, then, you know, I'm able to adjust my diet, I'm able to adjust my supplementation intake, really on the fly. For example, a couple of weeks ago, my neck started to get really sore, my jaw started to get really sore, and I jumped on a couple of bits and pieces, and it was, resolved them pretty quickly. So I think being responsive to the way your body is feeling, being responsive to the condition of your hair.
Also taking responsibility to understand that these things can be a result of other things that are going on in your life.
For sure.
It's the education responsibility.
Yeah.
But sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's fine. So,
more. We've digressed, but I'm so intrigued by everything you're saying.
No, that's what we're here for, right? It's alive, so no one can cut us off. No cutting us off. Well, that's why I invited you, right? I said that I invited you so that they didn't have to listen to my yabbering on. So yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to rein it back. Now that it's summer, what will you look to do different?
Definitely the hair hydration is a massive factor for me. So I mentioned before the battle of the frizz is a constant and always evolving beast for me to manage. So that's really what I focus on. So really up my hydration, so lots and lots of water, and also incorporating like water-rich foods into my diet as well. Like lots of smoothies and juices and those sorts of things.
Yeah, right. Such good summer go-to.
So good. And also, you know, that protein element, really, really important. So when proteins break down, you need protein in your diet to build those proteins back up, right? So if you think about our hair is made of, 80 to 90% protein. If we're having breakdown of that protein, we really need to replenish that protein. So for me, it's all about hydration and protein. So Crown and Glory and hair food are my two summer faves.
They will actually be, I dare say, the two big supplements that people will start to take in summer for that very reason.
Yeah.
We've got Main Event for intensive growth as well. but certainly crowning glory for that hydration piece, and then hair food for the protein piece. We've got as well, we actually pair them in our summer main kit.
Yeah, that's a bit convenient.
They are. They are, that I know, that was not rehearsed. They are in fact the summer essentials. Coming from a different angle, I've got very straight hair.
Yeah.
And with that comes very limp hair. It's very fine, but I tend to have a lot of it. And I get that from my mum, who is of Danish descent. My father, being of Mediterranean descent, gave me my brunette hair. But I find that length is fine for me. I don't need to be growing it. I'm more than happy with this. I've also changed my styling habits as well. You know, different brush, different heat, different hairdryer. And I'm doing it a lot less often because of the actual care that I'm taking for my hair.
Yeah.
So, you know, hair food is a go-to daily thing for me anyway.
Yeah.
I literally blend it. It's my mid-morning, it's the first thing I eat. I usually start my day with a coffee, and then I usually have a smoothie a couple of hours later. And it's literally banana, peanut butter for added protein.
I don't know about that.
Oh no, you must try it. Hair food, sometimes it's got cacao nibs for a little bit of extra crunch, but really you can mix it with whatever you like.
And you also were the crazy slash not crazy person who has been adding avocado to hair food as well.
Yeah, you say crazy, but don't knock it till
I'm
you
not.
try
I'm not
it.
knocking it. Like, just seems like a weird combo, but
No,
yeah.
well, look, I'll explain a little bit of science.
Yeah.
The reason it's in there is, okay, first of all, not science, it adds to a thickness,
Yeah.
right? So there's a really rich consistency, which is awesome. Also, the flavour of the avo you don't really take on. It doesn't really
It doesn't really
exist.
taste like anything too much anyway, right?
No, it doesn't. Like,
Yeah.
if it were mixed plain with milk, maybe you would taste the avocado come through. But, you know, you've got the strawberry, pomegranate, coconut undertones of hair food.
Yeah.
They overpower it.
Yeah.
But also, you know, the whole healthy fats
100%.
well.
Couldn't agree more.
Which,
yeah.
you know, to people listening to healthy fats for the first time, it probably doesn't sound very appealing. The reality is, though, they are so incredibly necessary for
Yeah.
healthy skin and healthy hair. And we say they're healthy fats. You're not
Yeah.
going to put on weight by having these
Yeah.
things.
And
Perhaps
your
we
body
should give them a
literally-
different name. I
Right,
don't know.
I know. Your body literally needs them to function. Right?
Craves them,
Yeah.
you know, it's an absolute requirement. So if I can get a little bit of extra in, and I
Yeah.
get the richness of the consistency, etc., like
Totally.
I'll throw it in.
Yeah.
And likewise with the peanut butter. But yeah, my go-to will, like, I'll consistently have my hair food. Like I mentioned, it's very fine,
Yeah.
my hair. And hair food with the protein, think about protein, you know, we take protein for our muscles to really repair the muscles. Likewise for the strands, it's really very necessary to strengthen the strands.
Yeah.
So, you know, fine hair breaks a lot, etc. I take hair food for that reason, but also I take Crowning Glory now because I will spend a lot of time outdoors.
Hooray.
Obviously,
Protected.
sex slap.
Yeah.
But I will also sweat a lot, and the scalp, I think you spoke about it last live you did.
Yeah.
It cops so much with the sweat build-up and the pollution build-up and the salt water build-up and everything that you're going to be doing.
Product.
So much more product this time of year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Even dry shampoo spray here
Yeah.
and there, like all of that adds up. So
And also more frequent washing, because if you're exercising more, you're going into the pool more,
Yeah.
you know, all of these things, you're washing your hair more.
yeah, true. So that's what I'll be doing this summer. We've been speaking for some time, haven't we?
Ages.
Okay, all right. Perhaps we should leave it there.
Let's wrap
so,
it up.
shall we say 5 bite-sized pieces?
Yeah.
What you should do now as we transition into summer.
Yeah.
Okay. You go.
You go.
1 for 1.
All right, go.
Okay. All right. Look to really nourish everything from within. Be very aware that there will be stress, that there will be changes to your lifestyle, environmental changes. Just be incredibly aware. So make sure that you're increasing that nourishment from within.
Yeah, and I think, you know, extending on from that, you know, antioxidants, lots of hydration, extra protein, lots of good fats, because that helps to coat your hair and helps to protect it from UV damage.
She's pretty much just basically explained Crowning Glory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely nutrition and the extension of mindful of external environments and, you know, the pressure that you're you know, potentially putting your hair under as well.
Have a conversation with your hairstylist about what you should be doing. Talk to them about your lifestyle. If you want to get a good stylist, first go and you're seeking one, have a look at the Apotecari website, because we don't actually work with any stylists that don't have that built into their own salon DNA. The experience needs to be there. They need to know what they're talking about, and they do. That's characteristic.
And also, you know, really prioritise hair health, right? So most of our salons are all about, you know, building really beautiful, healthy hair to start off with, so that they've got this great canvas to work their magic on. So yeah, I think couldn't agree more. I think definitely getting the right people on your team in terms of getting advice from the right people. Yeah,
and even before that, just getting them on your team. If you're sitting at home and you're not sure about what to do next, and you think you can control all of this with the diet and taking the Apotecari supplements, you know, it is going to certainly help and make significant changes. But guys, like you said before, there is an entire piece, there's an entire puzzle here. Work on it. Just take yourself once. Take yourself for a pamper session. And
who doesn't love a good pamper anyways, if anyone needs an excuse?
I think it's so necessary this time of the year as well.
Absolutely,
okay?
Yeah. And after
this
the year
time
that
of
we've
year
had.
and after the year. Yeah. So, well, I just suppose here's to 2020 summer.
Yeah. Hopefully it leads into a better 2021 than it has been 2020. And I guess the beach and being in the warmth and
being happy,
enjoying, and I think that is, you know, really living your life to the fullest and really, you know, sucking up all the good stuff.
Being well and being happy.
Yeah.
On that note, bye from us. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. It was so good to have someone to speak with.
To be working alongside someone like yourself.
Oh, thanks, my
You'll
love.
probably cut it here.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Happy Thursday. We'll
Happy
see you in a
Thursday.
couple of weeks.
Bye.